look for someone who's going to show me that, you know, how they are expressing their interest. And by that I mean taking other internships, being able to explain very clearly to me what you have done during those internships and what you learned from those internships. And then also asking, you know, I always ask candidates, what do you hope to get out of an internship at Sukara? What do you want to learn? And because we work on press, sales, social media, celebrity placement, there's so many different categories that we're working on. And, you know, I think a lot of people, you know, I was an intern for several years. I think a lot of people look at interns as free labor, which is the case, obviously. But at the same time, we do not take interns unless they can get school credit. And I think it's my job, whenever an intern comes in, and some semesters we have as many as 7 or 8 interns between both offices, and at the magazine I had about 13 interns per semester. I want to see what each intern is interested in, because it's a real opportunity for you guys while you're in school to really see and be a part of what you think you're actually interested in. Because the reality and the day-to-day of it may not be exactly what you thought it was. I look for someone who is not waiting for myself or anybody else on the team to give them a task. I look for someone who has real understanding and is able to observe the way that we work, and to have common sense as to when to approach and when not to approach, and when to say, you know what, they're going to need help on this. These shipments just came in from UPS, these just came in from FedEx. Instead of, you know, waiting to ask, you know, waiting, do you want me to open that? You know, just say, hey, I'm going to open this, I'm going to take care of it, show you what's in here. Just being proactive. And, you know, if you're feeling that you're overstepping a little bit, you're not. And the people in this industry will tell you if you are. And they'll say, no, don't worry, I will let you know when you need to take care of that. But I have had such amazing interns who have shown that whether this is the industry that they're interested in or whether it's not, they have shown me on their resumes that they've been in this kind of group, this kind of club, they've donated time here, they've volunteered here, and being able to explain exactly what they've done. And we have hired interns on full-time once they've graduated, because I think it's a real opportunity for you guys to really get into a company and see all the different facets of each company and what they work on.
First of all, just know about our company. Do some research before you come in. Know what stores we have. Go into our stores and have an experience and be able to tell us about the experience that you have when you go in. And have that be something beyond, I found a really great Coach bag. Have a little bit of curiosity, even if you don't know all of the answers. Have some questions that you're asking yourself when you're in the store, like, how did they get this bag for this price? Why did they decide to send this bag to this store? Who do you think is the customer that's going to see the value in the fact that this bag is in this store? So that would be the first thing. And then secondly, what we look for is people that have a passion for product, because that's what we do. We drive sales through the products we have in our stores. And then there also is, and I think everyone's kind of touched on it, you know, you are working with numbers in this industry. This isn't just picking out something that's pretty. It's analyzing sales trends, analyzing what sells, figuring out how to drive sales that way. So it's really about having a combination of those analytical skills and being able to articulate in an interview sometime in your experience, whether it be in a previous co-op, in a previous internship, or even a project that you did at school, being able to articulate how you analyze data in some way and how you made a decision with that. Because that's something that they're going to look for in order for you to be able to do the job of either a merchandise planner or a merchandise buyer. So I think that those are two things, and I think the great thing about TJX is we're constantly hiring entry-level people into the company. We have a corporate merchandise training program. We hire about 100 people a year. So we really are looking to bring new people into the company. We're growing all the time. We're promoting through the company. So you start out in this training program, and that's the track to become a buyer. So it's exciting to get into the company that way and just really go out and have experiences in our stores and be able to tell us about them.
Just showing, you know, on your resume what you enjoy. Do things that, you know, people can quickly see. You know, that you are taking initiative. Another thing is be a go-getter. There's nothing, you know, when I went in, I was the only one. I didn't get paid. I worked for credit for Drexel, so you don't get paid if you work for credit. And I worked I mean, it's not always pretty. I worked probably like 12 hours a day, multiple days a week. But I worked really hard. I never sat there bored. That's one thing that kills me when we have so much to do. And if you're an intern and you sit there and you're like, ugh, I have nothing to do. Get up and ask, like, what can I do? Or just take initiative and do it yourself. Be like, oh, I'm interested in trends. Maybe I can come up with this, big PowerPoint about what I think the trends are going to be in 2015, just by doing research, knowing that a trend, might stay for like a year and then be gone for 6 and come back or something. Literally just take initiative and be a go-getter, and always ask questions, because when you don't ask a question, you'll never know. And you'll keep doing the thing wrong, and it's just not going to get you ahead. You just need to ask. You just need to ask. And people will appreciate that more.
In the garment industry, there is so many aspects of it. There is your design. In the design, there's product development and graphic arts. There's merchandising, sales, marketing, production, quality control. There's just a lot of aspects of the industry. So doing an internship and kind of like hopping around to different departments is really important. That way you can kind of really see what it's about and what you're really interested in. I like to see somebody who has kind of like stepped out and, maybe joined some clubs, done a lot of volunteer work, kind of stayed at maybe a couple of jobs and not kind of like hopped around, but does have a lot of different interests. And then also I like to see that somebody can also do math, is a little artistic, can help out with maybe some colors, knows what's going on in the market that we're trying to sell. Not necessarily knows the customers 100%, but takes a little effort to find out what the competition is doing, kind of like help out and kind of participate. Even if you think, oh, well, I saw this, I was at a club last night and I saw this great shirt, maybe, kind of describe it, sketch it out, maybe learn Illustrator, Photoshop, and marketing and sales. A little bit of everything kind of helps out depending on what you want to do.
I don't necessarily know if it's an accurate depiction. I think that this is an industry that TV loves and that people like to watch, so it's got to be glamorized a little bit in some sense. I think the day-to-day is a little different than that. In terms of cutthroat, I think any industry that you choose to get into is going to be competitive. The job market as it is right now, everyone is competing against so many other applicants. I mean, when we put out an ad for a job, which we did for our New York office, in 2 days I got 400 resumes, and people are being very, very, very aggressive. So in terms of cutthroat, I think, I've seen interns that come in, I've seen staff that have come in and try to maybe be a little bit more aggressive on a project or something like that. To me, as the manager of the company or as the owner of the company, I look for people that can really work together. I don't like drama. I think it's the worst, atmosphere to work in, and I think it's horrible, and you get no results from something like that. But by cutthroat, just to go back to that, it's competitive. You have to make yourself stand out, and you have to get yourself seen and heard with the people that you want, and those are the decision makers. So yes, the nature of this industry is it's probably a little bit more competitive than most.
It's not cutthroat in the fact that someone isn't going to come behind you,
Right.
and steal your work and claim it as their own. It's not like that. You can't sit back either and just think that everyone's going to push you along. But
Well, that's key. You can't sit back.
Exactly.
You have to really
Exactly.
be proactive.
And at TJX, I think the great thing about that company is that it's a bunch of people together in that building that feel so passionately about what they're doing that you're really going to find that everyone's there working towards the same goal. It's a very collaborative environment. So once you get in, you definitely need to put your best foot forward, work as hard as you can, and you'll find that the people around you are going to try to support you, because no matter where you are within the company, if you're in planning or now in merchandising, I work on a merchandising team. And we all are driving sales for our division, and that's our goal. So it's not like the person sitting to the left of me is going to try to cut the legs out from underneath me. They're really working with me. And at the end of the day, and at the end of the year, when we look at our sales, we were working together to get to a sales goal.
There's the advertising team that has to secure the ads, and if they don't secure the ads, we don't have a publication. Because they have to pay for the writers, they have to pay for printing the publication, and they have to pay, you know, those advertisers pay for everything. But in terms of, that's just the finance, because the subscriptions on the newsstand are a way for me to show advertisers that I am guaranteeing 200,000, 300,000 people have paid to receive this publication every month. So when Vogue says their subscription, they put out 1.2 million magazines a month. Their readership by the Audit Bureau of Circulation is maybe anywhere from 600 to 700,000, and that's the number that advertisers pay on. Magazines have to be audited by a third party in order to be taken seriously. So that's sort of the financial side of the business. But in terms of journalism and getting in and writing, I found that in the last few years that I had the magazine, which was around 2003, that, and I think this is probably still happening now, is that a lot of writers, you know, they sort of present that they've, and I hope I'm answering your question correctly, they present that they've written a blog or they've kept, you know, they understand who the readership is of the magazine that they're going after. So say you're going after a women's service publication, which would be fashion, right? So you know that Glamour's readership or Marie Claire's readership is X, Y, and Z. You can get that information right off of their website. On their media kit will give you all of that information. So you present your story, you say, I know your readership is this, I know your demographic, most of your readers are usually on the coast, which are New York and LA, and you say, this is what I want to write about, this is how I want to present myself. And then you show them blog entries, ideas that you have. I know that when we were doing the magazine, obviously we're paying per word, which I think is what most magazines do, but those numbers have dropped considerably, and also long articles in magazines have dropped considerably because of the world that we live in today, the attention span, everybody wants things quickly, 140 characters or less. So, you know, you want to really show that you have your finger on the pulse in terms of who their demographic is, what you think that person would like to read about, and maybe offer your services, not even just freelance, but free, to just get in and get some, and then you get some tears for yourself. Build your portfolio, use those tears to go to other publications. So, because when you're working for free, you're not tied to anything.
For the open positions, we list through Northeastern. So for the full-time positions, I think it's Husky Link. So you can go on there to look at what full-time positions we're offering, and then as well we do offer, I think it's 6 co-ops every cycle. And the main way that we bring people in is through our corporate merchandise training program. So you come through merchandise planning, and then from there you can decide if you want to stay in merchandise planning or if you want to go more on the buying track. But that's really the way that we get people into the company. And again, you can do that both as a co-op. Usually it's like a second or third co-op, or you can do it once you graduate.
I post on MediaBistro.com and StyleCareers.com for jobs. All of the this page here where it says the fashion-related links for internship postings, we use all of those. So I would definitely reference those. And I've had the most successful luck with Media Bistro and Style Careers.
Dress for the position that you want, not the position that you have.
Yeah, this is what I wear to work every day. I don't wear, I have jeans on and wedges. I don't wear a suit to work every day, so when I would go for job interviews, I would wear something that is professional but shows my sense of style.
As far as attire, this is such a pet peeve of mine because so many people want to be in this industry, but they don't make an effort. And we are in a business of perception is reality in this industry. Now, each one of us works in a different place. I work in a showroom, and I have clients that come in at any given moment. and they are going to judge me in a minute by what each one of my staff members are wearing. I had an intern who came to work in flip-flops. I said, do not come back. I cannot have somebody in flip-flops. If an editor walks in, if a stylist walks in, if a buyer walks in, which they do at any given moment, I cannot have that presentation. That is a representation of my company. So, you know, this is an industry of perception as reality, and like we've all touched on, we work in sort of the same industry but in different sort of places, and so I expect people to make a serious effort, whether they're coming for an internship or a job, because when somebody walks in the door, believe me, I have had clients say to me, what's going on there? What's that? And so I have to answer to that, because that person is representing their brand. And so, you know, I am responsible for what each person looks like in the office. Not that it's like, you know, nobody's checked every day like a dictatorship or anything like that, but I mean, it's like, you know, but it's, you know, present yourself appropriately for the industry that you want to be in.
It's a lot of multitasking. So I would say 1 million projects at once. As a buyer, there's so many different things that you're responsible for. It's not just going, meeting with a vendor, negotiating. That's a piece of it. So those are always ongoing projects. So you have your vendors that you consistently are working with. We buy every week, so every week I'll look at the sales from the previous week. And that is where all the number crunching comes in. So I come in on Monday morning, the first thing I do is go through all my sales reports from the previous week, see what sold, and then I'll be on the phone with those vendors. If something sold out last week, I'm on the phone with them saying, do you have any more? Where is it? Is it in the US? Is it in China? How quickly can we get it in? Do I even have the money to buy it? Because I have to go to my boss and make sure we have the money to buy it. So that's one piece. Another piece is, as a buyer, you're responsible for having the vision. So we're constantly looking at trends. We are working with our product development team because they're the ones that really identify the trends for us. So right now we're working on our vision for holiday 2012. So we're deciding, what do we want our stores to look like when someone walks into the dinnerware department of home goods? What are the things that we want to stand for? So that's something ongoing that we're working on. And then we also try to keep a pulse on what our competitors are doing. So I'm constantly looking at Pottery Barn, Crate and Barrel, Sur La Table. What do they have in their stores now? Making sure that we can show value, what we have in our stores compared to what they have. And also making sure that the trends that they have on their floor now, either hopefully we have them in our store now, or the great thing about our business is I can get them in our stores within 4 or 5 weeks. So those are the main things that I do, but I would say it's a ton of multitasking.